you an email. We got home. Good to see everybody. Got it. All right, so we're up and rolling.
Not quite. Give it another
Not
couple
quite. Well,
seconds.
hang on a second, everybody. Give it just another minute.
There we go.
Here. Ready to roll?
Yep.
Well, hey everybody, it is great to see everyone. Rick and I had a wonderful time with a number of people I see here in the Zoom chat on the workshops in Owens Valley and the two that we did in the Tetons and quick visit into Yellowstone. We've been on the road a fair bit, just gotten home. I think both of us are suffering from that re-entry shock, you know,
Yeah.
back to life in the real world. And lots to do in the studio, but it's great to see everybody. And we've been kind of running through the gallery that everyone submitted images. And as always, you guys have submitted a bunch of amazing images. It's going to be fun to run through them. We'll do that quickly today. Couple quick announcements. Rick, you want to talk about a couple announcements fast?
So next office hours will be November 15th. We're going to talk about what would you say, sort of buying and selling gear, Hudson?
But also whether you need, you know, we can talk about, and we'll take your questions. We'll do a lot of Q&A, but you know, do you really need new gear, or do you have enough gear to work with and improve your photography with what you've already got? But if you do need to change up gear, you know, what are some of the best ways to think about selling or getting rid of your old gear? What's the best ways to get new gear that's in high demand and difficult to get a hold of due to supply chain disruptions and just high demand and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about gear in that mid-November sort of pre-Christmas buying frenzy time of year and whether you actually need to buy it and how to do it if you do.
Yeah. And then the other thing, we're starting to roll out the workshops for 2023. And we just posted live the Cuba workshops. We're actually doing 2 workshops in Cuba in 2023, and I should have the calendar up, and of course I don't. The first one is from April 11th to the 17th. The second one is the 20th of April to the 26th of April. And those can be found up at hudsonhenry.com/workshops. As I said, they're all open now, and just the description is up there for you to download, and it is an all-inclusive workshop. So basically you just get to Cuba and we'll take care of the rest. And it's one that it was the workshop we canceled right as COVID was starting. We were pretty psyched about doing it. We postponed it once and finally canceled it, and now we're all set to go back, and I think we're both pretty excited about it. So
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wonderful adventure.
And we're planning on rolling out the rest of the workshops in a sort of a little bit of a slow roll over the next month or so. There are a bunch of people who had expressed interest in the Charleston workshop, and Charleston actually sold out before we could even post it. It's one that's been in the works for a while, and a number of people had sort of pre-signed up for it. So if you were hoping to get into Charleston, we apologize. It was not because of the way it's scheduled. We couldn't do a second week as we did with Cuba, but we are planning on doing a Charleston workshop in 2024. So we'll keep your names on that list as well. Look to the workshops page for other workshops. I imagine that we'll get everything up by not the end of this month, by mid-November at the latest. And we'll be sending emails out to anybody who signed up on the Coming Soon 2023 page. You will be notified when these new workshops get posted. So,
right. All right. So should we jump in and look at some pictures?
I think we should.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have much time for Q&A today. There's a lot of images, but we will jump in here. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm out of sync. I think that happens a little bit just because I'm the hosting platform, but it should be a little less of a problem while we're in here and looking at my screen. So at least, you know, it'll be close enough. All right, so we're going to jump in here, look at these big. This is Bruce Campbell, just a really lovely, lovely shot of a lioness there. You know, obviously it's so tough to get those clear shots when they're grasses, but this one, it works no matter that one eye being sharp and there in the frame works really nice. And definitely, you know, it gives us a sense of place.
I love
Another
this one.
Bruce Lowe. I love, yeah, this is one of my favorite places in Florence, the Ponte Vecchio back there.
It's
gorgeous.
It's a beautiful shot. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reflections are just great. And I love the little lanterns on the side of the boat. Mm-hmm. My family is due to go back here this summer with my wife's parents. They've never been to Italy. They're Guginos, and Stacy and I love Italy. So we're taking the kids, and I can't wait. Tuscany trip. Rick and I are talking about maybe a Tuscany workshop in the not so distant future. Chris Taylor, really nice. This is a funny balloon. You know, I'd love to see just a little more room on the bottom of this one, Rick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
It's a fun shot of the balloon. Gives,
yep.
Yeah, fun shot. I give it a little bit of space at the bottom. Feels like it's pressed a little bit. Nutty shot right here. The helmet out the head. Not sure what's going on there. But it's a nice line running through here. Great moment, great capture of the probably Renaissance Festival and what's going on with that. I like the greens. Green and red, complementary colors. This one's just interesting. It's like the boulder is a punctuation point, Jim.
Yeah, I would agree. I would possibly crop up a bit or get more of that boulder down at the bottom. But it's a lovely shot.
Yeah.
The motion is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your eye goes from the boulder up the river to the mountains and the sky and back. I would agree with Rick. I'd try cropping up a little bit, kind of the way this bar that comes across with your name, something right along in here just a little bit. Nice one, Ken. Ken is one of our frequent flyers on the workshops and one of our favorite adventurers out on our photo workshops, and has been doing a lot of Milky Way work. This one with with the trees is just great.
Yeah,
fun shot.
This one was in Namibia, is that correct?
I think it is in Namibia. I was going to say Joshua trees, and then I looked at it and I'm like, that is not a Joshua tree. I think we're in Africa.
Yeah.
Cool shot. Oh, lovely waterfall. It's funny because you look at it and initially you think, well, maybe the horizon's a little bit off, but then you look at the top of the river and you look at how the trees are running straight through it. It's a lovely panoramic crop of this. Really nice job. I don't know if it's a panorama or if it's a crop, but either way, lovely choice. And the greens are just so nice. This just highlights why I consistently say, photograph waterfalls on overcast days, forest scenes on overcast days. That soft, even light just works so well in the woods. You don't want those harsh, intense highlights and shadows that you get when there's clear sky. Even if it's partly cloudy, wait till the sun is behind the cloud. It's just really works well.
This is a really nice pano. I'd like a little more room on the bottom.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But it's nice. It should print well as well. So
this one's fantastic, Margaret. Just love the symmetry of it and the line into the distance. You just feel like it keeps going. It pulls you right in. They're all walking into the frame, which just takes our eye down the path. Lovely.
No, if I'm still seeing the previous image. I don't know if other people are seeing that as well.
Really? Am I that out of sync? Uh-oh. Hang on a second. I'm going to stop my screen share. 1 second, guys. Just 1 second.
That damn Zoom.
I know. I don't know. Hopefully I'm going to come back to the share. Are we doing better? We seeing the monks?
There we go.
Margaret
We are
Krause's
now seeing
image?
the note. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if that's happening. I don't know. It's funny with Zoom. Just, this one, now that you're looking at it, I think that the composition and the spacing and the motion leading into the frame, I talk a lot about this when we run workshops and when I do tutorials, this idea that anything with the capacity for motion and sight should be moving into the frame so that your eye travels the rest of the scene. If the monks were going the opposite direction, it would just waste this entire frame. This whole composition is just fabulous. The light, the motion, it's just great. Nice job, Mark. I like how it's through the foggy, wet window.
Yeah.
I have been out there at Timberline a number of times in conditions like this. This is high on Mount Hood for those who are not Northwest locals. And it's in one of their old snowcats from the early days of the mountain. The Timberline Lodge is a civilian conservation corps project from the Depression era, and it's a beautiful place to go. And this is just really fine image. Even the trees are just spaced so nicely.
Yeah, I'd like it a little less centered, but it's hard to tell whether it was the cat he was in was moving or not.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the snowcat a little bit more on the right side of the frame.
It's a good deleted scene.
Yeah. It's a what? Oh, like a deleted scene from The Shining. Yeah, the only thing I'd caution against is if you wanted to move the snowcat back, you'd need to shift yourself further to the left, because I think this tree up here is important. If it wasn't there, it would just feel a little more blank.
Yeah,
it's like somehow that anchors the thing.
This one is beautiful.
Yeah, the reflection's just fabulous, isn't it? I like the texture on the water and the reflection of the tree. Really nice. I don't know the location, but I think the composition. This is one of those where putting the horizon.
Massachusetts. I've actually been to this place. It's a beautiful. Long before I was photographing. It's in Williamstown, Massachusetts, I believe.
It's just a study in green, and the sharpness of those stones are just lovely. Really nice job. And I think it works putting the horizon right in the center and centering this one up. There's times where those rules are made to be broken in this.
I mean, normally you tell someone, well, you want to get that tree in the background, as much of it as you possibly can, not cut it off. But here it just works perfectly,
Mm-hmm. This looks like an aerial view. Nice light, just dappled light. I'm not sure where we are once again. It almost looks like parts of Baja or California.
It says Catalina Island.
Yeah, there you go, California.
Shot with the new fave, the 24-120.
Yeah, not many people have had any problems with that lens that I've talked to.
Yeah,
everybody who's got it loves it.
It really is a nice shot.
It is a nice shot. Really great aerial. I think you gave it just enough sky and ocean. They're a beautiful piece of wood. I really, really like the black and white choice this time of day. This rock over here looks like it's carved into a face. I don't know. I feel like I want just a little more up above. Like I feel, it's a little cut off. Like that.
This is one where I think you really want to get low to the ground and shoot up and make sure you get all of that, the branches reaching
tree.
This is in Arches, where we'll be headed next year.
Yeah, we have a ton of fun on our Moab workshops.
Yep.
Stu, really. So this is over Avila Beach in California. Lovely Milky Way. I love the guard shack sitting there. It's really nice.
A wonderful shot.
Great blend. Wonderful shot. Clearly a blue hour shot blended with the Milky Way shot. The waves frozen. The light on the guard shack is great. All the footprints really work. It's nice. Bill. This is crazy with this one big tree dropping down here. Really cool waterfall. Job, Bill.
It's Olympic National Park.
Yeah, I was going to say it definitely looks like it's in our neck of the woods. That's one I haven't been to in Olympic National Park. I'll have to talk to Bill about this location.
So,
beautiful.
Beautiful. He's not with us today because he's sailing from the Falkland Islands to South Georgia Island to photograph king penguins. So
okay, poor Bill. Wow. He was a topic of discussion in the Tetons this last trip. We missed him. Dennis, wow, cool building. You know, I love the colors in this and the lines in the building. I feel like the branch here just distracts me a little bit. Like if you could reposition a little to not have that overlap.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Beautiful colors.
It's a wonderful travel image, and it's the colors I think are great.
The colors are fabulous.
Yeah.
Venice. Really nice moment, Jim. You know, when I talk about shooting cityscapes and night cityscapes, that blue hour is just the perfect time to do it. And this shows why. You know, look at this, the way that the blue in the sky is reflecting in the water. That last wavelength of light after the sun sets, or the first wavelength of light coming around the bend before the sun rises, is always blue. It doesn't matter whether it's cloudy or foggy or clear sky, you get just those beautiful blues. And when city lights come up against that blue, it just works. Really nice image of Venice. Org. You know, I feel like it just a little bit earlier in the morning, later in the day. It's those kind of middle of the day moments, you know, and getting a little closer into your subject. I'm not sure what this is. I'm curious about it. I'd like to know more about it. But I feel like we need to get just a little bit closer to it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mike, what a moment with these bears. That's just beautiful. Kids would look at this and go, "Mama and baby." I need to show this. I need to show this to Pepper. Actually, she will lose it when she sees this. You know, we actually see a fair number of polar bear pictures, you know, come through image reviews during workshops or image critiques. And it's tough to differentiate now. There are so many people going on tours, but this is a great moment. Really lovely. Nice job, Mike. All nice moon. You know, this is something we actually went out and photographed the moon over Mount Moran in the Tetons a week ago. It was that moment when the moon was setting just as the sun was coming up, about 10 minutes after. And, you know, people are always asking about how to photograph the moon. And the truth is the moon is lit by daylight. And when you got to photograph it in conjunction with sunlight being on the earth. And so it's fun to put it in scenes. This is really nice. The architecture is obviously amazing, and just the colors with that warm stone and then the moon.
Yeah, and we can't always hope for you know, that beautiful golden light at the end of the day. You know, you're in these places oftentimes in the middle of the day, and I think this is a really great example of how to shoot well with the gear you have. You know, his comment is, you know, he wishes he had a longer lens to get that moon a little bit bigger, but you know, it drops us in that place in a really nice way.
Yeah, and I think the moon is just the right size in this shot. It's wonderful. It catches your eye, and you know, it's just that extra element that makes this image pop. Scatano, this is just a great little moment here, isn't it? The fog just makes this scene, and the light catching that one little spot, and you know, a nice job with the processing too. Dreamy. It's a dreamy shot. I love these trees in the background through the fog.
Yeah.
Nice work.
That's a really nice shot.
It's a really nice shot. In Reno, this is a beautiful Bryce Canyon image. You know, those rays are just making it. Bryce is a beautiful place. It's tough to photograph. It's you know, it's gorgeous, all the hoodoos, and having this light filtering down through that gap in the clouds just makes this one. Good job to recognize it and capture a really nice image of it. You seeing that, Rick?
I am. There was another lag there for a bit, but looks like we're okay.
All right, let me just real quick. I'm gonna stop the share and restart it so that I don't know why it keeps lagging like that. Sorry, everyone. Pop in and out. Yeah, just let me know if that's happening. Better, we're back up.
Yep.
Great job, Reno. This one's super cool, Rob. I love the over-under perspective on that one. It's a great moment. And you know, we talk a lot in image critiques about having, you know, often three subjects in your composition really kind of create attention. And this one's fun. It works. Yeah. I love the woman standing up on the platform and the person climbing back into the boat. It's just great.
Yeah, this works really well.
We back better in sync, guys.
Yep.
I just clicked onto surrenders. Long exposure in the canyon here. You know, nice flow, this one. No pun, or I guess pun intended. I love the rocks and I like the lines in it. I feel like, you know, sometimes these really long exposures, I can tell this one's really slowed down. You sort of lose the feel for the bubbling river, you know, especially as it comes through these kinds of riffles over rocks. It's nice to see a little bit more of for me personally, I tend to like more the half second to a second versus the 15 seconds to 30 seconds, because it just starts to feel a little bit plastic, the water. You know, there's always exceptions to that rule, but
I think this one could also could use a little bit of a black point adjustment to sort of increase the contrast. I feel like the water itself and the rocks are a bit overexposed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would definitely
pull
just
back on the highlights.
Yeah.
Al, great bend in the river, nice sky. I feel like it just looks a touch sharp to me. Do you think, Rick?
I'm not. It looks like we're behind again. I really can't. Well, people are saying there's no lag, so I'm looking at Al's on my screen. It does feel a little bit over sharpened, but it's a beautiful bend.
It's a beautiful image. Yeah, I back off on the contrast and sharpening just a tiny bit. It just has that little bit, but it's really beautiful.
Yeah. It feels like what happened is especially in the sky, it looks a bit over-processed. I think that's just because of the sharpening. Yeah.
And I don't see it as much in the foreground as I do in these background trees in the sky. I would completely agree with that. Are you seeing Brenda's image?
I'm not, but other people are, well.
We're now stuck.
Sorry, guys. I really something with Zoom at the moment. All right, so if I jump back in, we're back.
Yep.
All
right. Beautiful silhouettes. I love the line of clouds. I like the mist in the background. I think the black and white treatment's really nice. And just popping those birds into black, Brenda, was a really good decision. It looks great.
Yeah.
I like the crop.
I think it's really nicely done.
Really nice image. Chris, this acorn image was a topic Woody was really liking this one. The framing on this is just great. The backlight is always emotionally charged. It just kind of gives you an exciting feel having that backlight coming in from behind. It's a really nice seasonal image. Good job.
Yeah, and the processing is really well done on it. You know, you can tell that it's been processed to sort of bring out the acorns. It's really well done.
Really well done.
Yep.
Dale, we all see in Dale's. I love the reflection in the water in this one. You know, I personally might back the saturation in the greens off just a smidge, but I think the waterfall is just beautiful. The shutter speed's great. Your subjects, if it is just nice and sharp, the reflections and seeing through the water to the bottom, it's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it's a really nice image. I might cut out the rock at the lower left, but other than that.
Yeah, that's easy, you know, and I wouldn't crop to do that. I would just zap it with a little content aware fill, because I think the balance is really nice with the amount of waterfall you have coming down in the reflection. Rainbow shot by Dan here, you know, and clearly there's some wind and things moving in the scene, and it works with the motion of the river. I feel like there's just a little, maybe a smidge of a magenta cast going on, but the blues just seem a little turquoisey and thing, but you know, maybe a little shift with the white balance, but beautiful image.
Yeah, I imagine it was probably a pretty challenging scene, to be honest. You know, with so much different color going on.
We're frozen again, Hudson, just so you know. There we go.
Gosh, you guys. Yeah. Hang on. Hang on one sec. You guys bear with me for 1 second. See if I can fix this thing.
This is how you know we're live.
And you're on the beach. It's like a lovely day on the beach there, Ken. We had 4 Kens in our Owens Valley workshop. That was Indiana I was referring to. Is Hudson back?
The image is back.
The image is back.
Am I back now? You hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes.
We see
right,
Dave's shot on screen.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lighthouse at Blue Hour. I'm guessing there's some software induced sunstar going on with the lighthouse. The image is beautiful. I love the silhouette and I love the time of day. Clearly a longer exposure than you could stop down for a sunstar with, and a lighthouse usually doesn't have that intense a small point source to create that, but it's a creative shot. And definitely, you know, I know.
Can you turn your microphone up a little bit?
I'm going to crank it a little bit.
Yeah, you're sounding like you're next
far
door.
away.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know why we're having so many technical difficulties. Is that better?
That is much better. Yes.
All right. Sorry. So I was just saying that, you know, the technicality of creating a sunstar from a lighthouse, particularly at blue hours, you know, darn near impossible. So it's a creative sunstar image. I love the base image of it with the silhouette of the lighthouse and the blue hour. You know, nice creative digital art there. Dave, this is fabulous shot.
Yeah.
Eyes are razor sharp. I love the shallow depth of field, the light.
Yep.
Beautiful image. Well captured. EC. Nice Milky Way with the trees. Definitely gives us a sense of place.
I think this is DC's neighborhood.
Is it?
I think so. I think he showed me this one before. Yep, Appalachian Mountains. Thinking of a spruce forest along the West Virginia Scenic Highway. With our favorite, the 14 millimeter 1.8.
There it is. The Sony shooters have that lens, which those of us in the rest of the world covet. Doug, nice sense of place here. I love the dual level train station. That train coming in really makes the shot. Nice work on that one.
This is just beautiful. The light in this is wonderful. There's so much motion and movement, and it just captured perfectly. It really is.
There's something about the color too. Like it feels a little bit filmic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really love this one. This is like when we talk about travel images, you know, there's a line pulling through and then a line pulling through, and just that blue hour. Blue hour is such a good time to be out photographing.
Yeah.
Eric, wow, dramatic moment. Looks Sierra-ish. In fact, that's Mount Whitney back there.
Yep.
We're in the
Alabama Hills.
We just spent a bunch of time with a great crew in the Alabama Hills. One of my favorite places. I love the black and white. Really nice. Crazy sky.
Yeah.
I know who this is. This is Gary from Morocco. We back on? You guys seeing Gary?
Not yet.
Good grief. You know, maybe I should just hit the, I don't know what's going on.
Do you want me to try?
Try, sure.
What it's worth.
I will stop my share.
YouTube still looks great, guys. I don't know why.
All right.
Certain screens are not changing, but
Hit it, Rick. You share.
Okay.
You there, Rick?
I am.
There we go.
Is that coming up? I can't see anything. So.
Yep, I got it.
All right. So you see in Morocco?
Yes, I am.
So
And
Gary's
our
been
friend
a
Gary.
traveling fool the last couple of years. And this was a trip he took after he went to Scotland to visit his daughter up in Edinburgh, and then went to Morocco with his wife, and then went to Costa Rica with you guys. Yeah. Love the lines in this. I just love the lines in this.
Taken from Camelback, we know.
Yes. Jason, good friend Jason. Are you seeing that?
Jason, this one's, yeah, and it's amazing. This shot caught my eye in the gallery, and then I clicked and saw that we get the whole fisherman, the backlight, the moment. It's just a fantastic image. Not
Jason
a shocker,
is,
Jason.
Yeah. Jason is one of the most
work.
inventive and exciting photographers we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
He showed up at one of the Moab workshop.
Moab, we had a ton of fun in Moab.
Yeah.
Infectious energy.
Yes.
And a great and just creative is exactly the right word. This is a fantastic fishing image. Just fabulous.
Jim. That's a nice
sense of place. We're in Patagonia in Torres de Paine, without a doubt, because of that insane metamorphic capstone on top of the granite back there. Camped out, beautiful. Gives me a sense of being there.
Yeah, we'll be there again. A couple of years.
Yep, can't wait.
This is beautiful. This is a just lovely image of a
nice light.
Yeah. It's framed lovely.
If you move your cursor,
yeah,
sometimes, there you go.
Yeah,
lovely. If you go and hover over the arrow for the next image, that always goes away.
Yeah. The framing in this one is just wonderful.
It is. And that light on the vegetation on both sides of the nearly dry waterfall tells a story.
Yep. Camille.
Oh, wow, that line is crazy. The reflection line runs right up toward the ridge into that line.
Yeah.
It just sweeps through the whole frame.
It is.
And the atmospherics are wonderful. Yeah. The reflection's great. Just wonderful. You guys do great work. It's fun to see the world.
I know. And it looks like a couple of people right up there. Right up, you know. So that little speck of red. It's very cool. It's a great image. Kyle. We have
Kyle.
It looks like Northern Lights and Milky Way.
Yeah. Northern Lights, Milky Way panorama. Beautiful
Yeah.
work.
Really nice work.
Really nice. I don't know. I'm super curious if you stacked this or if you just captured as single frames and blended the panorama, but it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice work. A challenge. And the
Mhm.
Northern Lights just add to it. Crazy.
Yeah. Sandy.
Oh, Sandy, what a moment.
That bird is crazy.
Yeah, this is a great moment, Sandy.
That is wonderful shot, Sandy. I
Mhm.
really like it. There's just
Can't
so much
wait to
action.
get back out photographing with you again.
Yep.
It's been too long.
Oh, that's
Oh.
beautiful.
Gorgeous, Scott.
Yep.
That, I don't know, everything about the color in this, just and the sharpness and the shallow depth of field. It's a great lens, great wide open aperture, and just the frost on the, I think it's maybe spruce and the bird, and just fabulous. That's a gorgeous shot.
Yeah, you should definitely print that one, Scott.
Mm-hmm. Really nice. Really, really nice.
Stephanie.
Love this one too, Stephanie. I looked at this a fair bit as I was going through. It's just the perfect moment, you know, and the atmospherics let you get the sun in there so nicely, that gradient, and then the silhouettes, and you were careful to place yourself so that there would be, you know, no overlap. It just works.
Yeah.
The rule of threes again, having three main subjects in your frame. It's just this, the composition on this is lovely. Really nice.
Yes, it is. It really is. I don't know that our friend Carl J would like it, but you know. Carl seems to have a problem with trees jetting up out of the horizon. So, but
I think he'd be okay with this one.
I think you would be too. I'm teasing. You know.
Yeah, I know. It was something we did in the Bristlecombe Pines a few weeks ago with Carl. Oh, that's awesome, Devin.
That's a really fun shot.
It really is.
Really fun. Those eyes are just so sharp.
Would you go in, Rick, and would you zap that one little green leaf that goes over the eye on the left of the frame?
This one?
It would be easy. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard a clone job. Just even just a little bit of it. That right there.
Yeah. Just
I
that
probably
piece right
would.
there. Yeah, I'd probably zap that whole little leaf right there.
Yeah. I don't think it would be so hard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just wow. Even with it, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Tony, I love this shot. I love this shot.
The way
you just filled the frame with this. And Tony's a master of the ship photography, and I love to see the close-ups as much as I like to see the boat porn for the boat companies. You know, this is just wonderful.
Rick, next time you're in town, we need to get coffee with Tony. Make that happen.
Yep. But great shot. Nice processing.
Beautiful.
Oh, and here's another one.
This is cool. I mean,
Walter.
And Walter, it follows Tony's so well.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It really does.
Yeah.
The symmetry of both of them. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Wow. Get a job.
Yeah. This is really well done, Walter. This is really well done.
It is.
I don't know how many images
the line,
is, but yeah.
The line and the light work so well if you just move over it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go,
it's Walter, yeah.
If you go all the way in, I mean, it just, this is pretty much dead center, and yet it works so well. It works.
It absolutely works.
Yeah,
it's like a graffiti tunnel.
Yeah,
super cool.
Fun shot.
I love the stars. Yeah.
Wink.
Oh, this poor sheep. It has like a misgrown horn blocking its vision from its right eye. Beautiful shot though. Lovely portrait. And I love the brush in the background.
Yep. Yeah, this one's
nice
really
touch
well
with
done.
the editing too. Who is this?
This is Wink Jones.
Yeah, really nice job, Wink. That's beautiful.
Bill Fuller.
Bill Fuller, lovely panorama. Got
Really
great
nice
reflections.
Yep.
Yeah, and
This is a
I
nice
like
anchor.
the choice. It
It's
is,
a nice anchor for the image.
and I like the choice of leaving the foreground grasses too.
Yeah, it works really
Great.
well. Another one that looked lovely printed.
Good sense of place. Oh, we saw Chris's before. It must be there
Maybe it
twice.
came in
Beautiful
twice.
still.
Yep. Dave Van
Dave.
Zandt.
Definitely that gateway leads us in. I feel, it's a little close to center, but very cool. I even if you just cropped a little bit of the left off of it, I think it would just give it a little help potentially.
I don't know about that. I feel like the leading line of the roof on the right side really does sort of help bring you in. I feel like it's just off center enough that it works for me.
Yeah. Oh, and I talk about crop. I mean, like a little tiny bit, but so that maybe just to crop maybe that one post that's right on the edge,
right there,
beam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smidge.
I'll give you that.
Very cool.
Eric.
This is really nice, Eric. Love the texture on the water, and an interesting sort of colorized edit. It looks just the starkness of that siding and those windows are just beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and this is what you get, on the eastern seaboard. You get lovely color and gray skies quite a bit. Nice way to work with the scene you had.
Indeed.
And I like the framing of the leaves on the left. I think that works well. I like this one quite a bit. This is a Rick LePage style image right here, for sure.
I really like it. I think that the little weather station, the two lifts are in opposition to each other. Kind of, there's a tension between those, and the wand only adds to it all. Great.
Yeah,
it's just great.
It's so sharp. It is just so sharp.
Really nice.
Nice work, Pascal.
Great work, Pascal.
Peter.
Back in Namibia, Peter. This one, it's such a beautiful scene. It's just tough in the midday harsh light. I wonder, you might try this in black and white.
Yeah, I would look at this in black and white.
And then just you can really boost the contrast without having the color become too distracting. And that, I think you might find, the famous shots of this are always at the blue hour, like if you're the last safari vehicle out of the park. But I think midday, trying the black and white, you might find yourself surprised. And also maybe lifting the tripod a little bit so that the tip of the tree isn't going above the top of the dune.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would suggest. Either get it so that it's significantly above, which would be tough with that tree in the foreground. But it does feel kind of like it's bisecting the frame in a way that doesn't help the composition. Yeah.
I'm sure Carl J could chime in on this.
Bruce, another lovely shot. I have the same comment that I'd like to see all of that bush below the line, but it's a really nicely done shot. Processing.
I'd like to see. I would have you. The processing is really nicely done. I'd have you raise the tripod a bit, or raise yourself with the camera a bit, just to put the tip of that plant below the dune, and maybe shift just a smidge to the left to put it a little less dead center. But beautiful processing, and I love the patterns in the dunes.
Speaking of Carl.
Speaking of Carl, I see trees above and below the horizon, but they work in this one.
I'd like a little less sky. I'd like a little less sky and a little more tree below.
You could just tilt down a bit with that fluid head and just add in a little more of the green and yellows at the bottom, and the sky is dramatic, but not doing a whole lot for the image.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was cropped. Well, play her at the crop a little more.
So this is our good friend Chris Keller, who was with us in Tetons last week. And he said this is the
Indeed.
same photograph, or the same place as that earlier photograph we saw from, was it another? Was it another?
It was the one, yeah, with just the very dry waterfall and the
just
sort of framing.
This bit right here,
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
So you've given us a little more.
Very
This looks like a
different
pano.
Yeah.
Feel like
Feel maybe
here. I almost want to crop a little bit down at the bottom.
And potentially trying it out in black and white. You know, sometimes the brown tones just don't work as well in these sort of forest rocky scenes. You know, I try this one out in black and white and see what you think about it.
Yeah.
There's a travel image right there. Nice job, Daniel. I love the shadow. I wish that I mean, you know, it's tough, but again, talking about perspective and rise, exactly. His hat or his, you know, it's lost in the shadow. I love the shadow of him with the hat. If there was some way to get a little bit higher so that, or wait for a moment if he stepped out into where his hat's in the light. Part of it is the shadows being cast across his. Well, it's not though. I think it's just a dark hat against the shadow. So if you stood up, it's lit. Beautiful moment though. We're nitpicking. It's great. I know where this is.
Yep.
Wow, that's funny. So someone else was doing similar things to us this last week. We took our second Tetons workshop up into the Lower Geyser Basin of Yellowstone because they were able to process our permit despite all the flooding. And while we moved the Yellowstone workshop down into the Tetons, we did spend a day up in sort of the crazy world of the Lower Geyser Basin. And I love these lines in the Grand Prismatic Spring. This is beautiful.
We had a bison walk across the Grand Prismatic Spring, which was one of the nuttiest things I think I've ever seen. I mean, really, we were watching it sort of heading towards the spring, and we're like, no. And sure enough, we were actually
right through here.
We were in the overlook, which is sort of up along this side somewhere. And it was crazy. It was really kind of crazy. I wish we had taken video of it, but we were kind of far away.
It was nuts.
So
I have a few photos, but it's nuts. And then I saw there were lots of hoof prints. Oh, really nice line through the fall color. Great color.
Yep.
Way to recognize a good sort of arcing S line leading us into the scene. I feel like I back off the processing in the sky just a little bit. I feel like the blue's a little neonish. Sort of detracts. It's a little bit. Yeah, back off the contrast in the sky just a little bit and let those trees be the star of the show. Beautiful though, beautiful composition.
Jim.
It feels somehow just sort of, it's almost as if there's one of the, I wonder if you had a little water on the lens potentially, and I'm seeing a couple of spots. It's,
some stuff, especially down at the bottom.
Right. It's an explosive composition, but it looks like, when I photograph waterfalls that are creating a lot of mist, I have a big microfiber cloth and I always put a UV filter in front of the lens so that you're not wiping on your front element with all those coatings. And I'm, getting my composition, getting my shutter speed, getting my settings, and then wipe and shoot. Wipe and shoot. Wipe and shoot.
I also feel like the processing up here in the sky looks like used on one or Lightroom to sort of select the sky, and the mask is not quite as successful, shall we say.
Right.
But I'm not, it's got a funny processing vibe to it that I probably go back and work on a bit. Oh, Karen.
I know who this is. It's Karen.
Karen's
Nice
probably,
job. I
probably
haven't.
working today, so she's not here, but she was in our Owens Valley workshop, and she was dogged in her desire to get star stacking of the Milky Way
In a Milky
done.
Way shot.
And she did a
Mhm.
beautiful job here. She really did a beautiful
Yeah.
job.
We have multiple nights working on getting the Milky Way just right, both with people using trackers and stacking technique. And we were shooting blue hour foregrounds concurrently so we could composite those into those Milky Ways. And this is from Mono Lake. And I will just say that if you see images of the lake with the Milky Way behind it and tufa, it is probably not accurate, given that when you're standing at the tufa, the Milky Way would be behind you looking over the lake. So this is the accurate view of where the Milky Way actually is behind the tufa. And I give her massive brownie points for doing that exactly where we saw it would be on photo pills, and a beautiful blue hour shot and a nice composition with a great star stacked Milky Way capture. So bravo, Karen, you rocked it. You rocked it.
Ken, who's sitting on a lounge chair on the beach in Florida as we speak.
This is Indiana Ken.
This is Indiana,
We had 4
nice
Kens
waterfall.
out of our workshop participants in the Owens. This is a nice waterfall. I love the reflections in the pool above and the juxtaposition of that and the tumbled water down below. I like the line of this. I think it could stand to be just a little bit longer exposure on the falls itself.
Yeah, it feels like
like a half a second.
Yeah.
This feels like a 30th of a second or a 15th or a 20th, or it's slowed, but it's got that sort of, it just looks a little muddied. Whereas you could get that half a second just tends to be great with waterfalls like this.
Really great composition though, Ken. I think
indeed.
You'd probably tell me that this is close to where you are. And this is a place I would go back to for sure.
It's beautiful.
Ken.
I know when this is Ken Keepers. This was a beautiful moment where we literally hit the brakes on El Jefe, the Sprinter van, and just stopped on the side of the road because the clouds were so magnificent. And I shot some time lapse in black and white with a polarizer. This was a moment where you wanted to have a polarizer on your lens just to boost that contrast in the sky and in those shadows on the mountains. This is in the Owens Valley coming down from
that is actually
Mammoth.
the beginning of the Owens Valley right there. We're coming down from Convict Lake. We had a wonderful early morning shoot at Convict Lake, and we're driving back, and it was we had to stop. And I originally submitted a color image of this same time, but it was actually one of my favorite shoots of the whole Owens Valley workshop. Was this one right here? There's so much stuff there to work on.
It was beautiful. I shot time lapse and stills. I had 2 cameras going. It was just beautiful.
Great work, Ken. Really great work.
Really nice. Really nice. Oh, and this is where we started talking to people about setting their camera to look at the world in black and white in that time of day too. We change your picture settings on whatever brand you're working with to monochrome or black and white. And you could shoot RAW plus JPEG and you get a color RAW file, but the black and white JPEG, and you get to look at the world through in black and white at this time of day is just magical. It really lets you see everything in tones.
It's a great way to sort of help get you out of a rut or to just think a little bit differently about how you use your camera. Mark, this is a beautiful.
Like this, Mark.
Yeah.
So sharp where it needs to be and so mysterious and soft because of the long exposure. It's beautiful.
Yeah, a wonderful composition.
Yeah, it works. Nice job.
Oh,
Mike,
our good friend Mike, who still has my 24-70 f4 lens. Hello.
He said he's sending it back. The light in this is just fantastic.
It is. And it's funny, this little piece right here, I could see myself being in this spot and like, oh, damn it, should I go take it out? But it works really well.
It works.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
You know,
It really does.
it's like a little mic boom. But I love the shadows in here. I mean, the sharpness up in here is wonderful. You know, it's a really beautiful image, Mike. It's a really beautiful image.
Well, and I'm really sure that
for you.
I'm positive that Mike did a little burning and dodging in here.
Oh, I think he did. Yeah. Yeah.
And bringing the highlights up in that top right corner for that color just pops it. It's like a repeating pattern to the background, and it's wonderful. Wonderful travel photo.
Mitch,
we're in Iceland.
I love the motion of the people. I really love it. You know, it's like, I'm sure this is a place where if I went, it would drive me crazy because there'd be so many people wandering around and, you know, how do you get that shot? How do you get that shot? And instead, it's like, all right, we're going to embrace it. You know,
my favorite images of this fall. I will say that I agree. I think my favorite images of this fall always have people in them, because without the people, you don't get the sense of scale of this waterfall. It is massive. And so the people are really important. And I think the fact that you've got those three people who are standing really still and everyone else moving.
This guy really sort of anchors the frame in a way that if he wasn't motionless, you know, like I said, and honestly, this up here I would get rid of. And I just wish that it were a little bit less bright. But
I think that the data is probably there. You could probably crop the observation deck out and just back the white point and highlights down a smidge and pull the blacks down a little bit and really improve just the tonal contrast in this particular image. I think, you know, if this is a place where tours are coming and going and you're able to stay, you wait for a gap and either throw your friend out there and tell them to hold really still, or you go out there yourself and hold really still with a timer, because you have to have a person in this scene.
For me, this area like right here is so pure white that it kind of draws my eye in a way that I wish it didn't. So
agreed.
Oh, Pat,
Machu Picchu on the way up. That's beautiful. In a nice probably early morning. I'm guessing very early in the morning is kind of the only way to do this, where you don't have a flood of people. I remember back in the day when I was here, you could catch the 6 a.m. bus up from Aguas Caliente if you spent the night down below and be up there with it by yourself. But I don't know if that's possible anymore from reports I've been hearing. It's just fantastic. You almost have to stay up at the fancy Machu Picchu hotel to have it to yourself in the morning. It's beautiful. Really beautiful. This one cracks me up. Yeah. It's a great action shot, you know?
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And as a travel photograph, it works very well. You know, there's just a lot of stuff going on in an image that doesn't have a lot going on. There's really one thing.
I like the teddy bear driver cover. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Nice work, Patrick.
Paul.
This one's just fabulous, Paul. Such a sense of place, you know. Camp. It's so warm and inviting.
It is. It's really well done.
The complementary colors. Moment of reflection, so to speak.
Peter. This is our friend Peter.
It is. Yeah. Which park is this in? It's always exciting to see lines. I would crop this image. I would crop the stubby grass up above. I would crop it more panoramic, so where it's really about the reflection in the lines. And I would, you know, I'd also play with this one in black and white too. Just that middle of the day. Sometimes when you have browns in the middle of the day, it distracts you from the beauty of the scene. And when you convert them to black and white, you're like, wow. Plus, you can just pop the contrast in ways that break down in color. This is one to play around with a little bit, I think.
Yep.
Because it's a great scene.
Raleigh.
Oh, I got to talk to Raleigh about Bosque. Now that we're home and we have a moment. This is cool. Great composition with the bridge. I don't know what that's a pollution boom stretching across. Something's going on.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good job not having the bridge and that little observation roof intersect each other. We got that little gap of water. Sky is really cool. It's a fun composition.
That's a really nice composition. Raleigh does
pollution boom. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Raleigh is a wonderful photographer with an amazing eye.
Yeah, he is. You'd turn around and you're like, where's Raleigh? I probably should try to figure that out because he's probably got something cool up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Oh, it's our friend Rick at
Canada Rick.
Death Valley in Zabriskie Point, in a different view of Zabriskie Point, focusing in on the little, the little gravel wash heading down the Golden Canyon. Lovely. Nice moment. Great dawn shot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a pano. Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with Rick and the Palouse.
This is lovely.
Yeah. I would try to find a way to, well, here's what I would do. Honestly, I would get into the scene and I'd look at it through my viewfinder, and then I'd probably do something to move that foreground set of green leaves that kind of catch your attention down in the bottom left corner. I am not opposed at all to doing a little deadheading and pruning when I'm one thing we've started really recommending to people when we're out in the landscape is you go out there, get your composition, and turn off all the data on your viewfinder, whether you're using the back panel or you're looking through the viewfinder. Go to that clean view, because a lot of times you can have something that's kind of standing out with some this is so beautiful. Yeah. And the one thing that catches my eye and is fixable is that set of green leaves down there at the bottom left. They just grab your attention because they're brighter and different than the rest of the foreground vegetation. And you might not even see that if your shutter speed and aperture and ISO are all overlaying it. And so turning that off lets you get a good view of the edge, and then you might just reach out and pluck it.
Yeah. I mean, for me in the Sony, my histogram ends up right here, which is just horrible because I can't see down in that lower corner. So, I'm just constantly sort of switching through those views, and you take the shot and you look and you're like, crap, I got to move my setup. I'd like a little less processing in the sky up here. I just feel like it feels somewhat overdone to me. It might be very close, but to what it was like, but it's still is drawing my attention in a way away from sort of this line in here.
Well, and if you're working in Lightroom or the newer version and on one, you just select the sky and back the contrast and saturation off a little bit, localized editing.
Neil.
Oh, lovely contemplative heron. I'd love to have the tail feathers in there. But great tight composition.
Yep.
Just nab that fish.
Yeah. Poor sunfish.
Oh, that's fun. That's really cool. What the heck? It's like, that's not car lights. Is it headlamps? A group of people headed up the trail. I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Lovely shot.
Lovely. That light painting's great. Headlamps going down. Very, very cool. Nice long exposure. Colin, I love this. This is when we talk about a travel image, man, what a moment. And the composition and the light and the triangles and leading line and
the guy.
That's just and the moment. The perfect moment.
The
singularity.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah, great processing on it too. Just love it. Love it. Roy, creative composition. Wow.
Yep.
Who says don't put the sun in there and go wide?
Yeah. Yep.
I might zap that little bit of tree that's up in the left.
This guy right here.
Left side. Yeah, that one right there. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Otherwise,
doesn't bother me as much. There's a balance with the tree over here, you know, and this
yeah,
is really the star of the show, and it's so well framed
that's crazy.
with the
Yeah,
the river and
river.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Tom,
Interesting composition. I feel like if you could move a little maybe to the right so you could make these logs angled instead of straight lines across, you could create kind of a leading line in your scene. And then I'd just back off the saturation a bit personally.
Yeah.
Anytime you can find a straight line, if you can shift to make it diagonal.
Yep.
You just click. Yeah. Oh, what a nice little moment with little brown bird. Who is this?
This is William Thomas.
William,
one of our
lovely,
friends from
sharp,
the
right?
On One Days. Yeah, beautiful. William.
Lovely. It's so sharp where it needs to be, and I love that shallow depth of field.
Yeah,
great moment.
Up. This is my travel photo from the last month.
Yeah, pretty recent actually. This was down just below, in Willow Flat. Or
no, this one's Oxbow Bend, north of Oxbow Bend.
Yep. Oxbow Bend with the Tetons behind us. I have a beautiful shot of Rick capturing this with the Sunstar in the tree too.
Yeah, I had a bunch with the Sunstar, and in the end, I've been working on this one. Just I much prefer it.
I love the backlight. It's just wonderful and dramatic, and
I've been printing it.
Moment.
I've been doing a bunch of prints of it, trying to see if I can get something I like. But me and trees.
Nice. David Archer is off photographing fall color and captured this. Yeah, and birds and wildlife as usual. He's in the Smokies, right?
Yeah, he's actually got a friend who has a portable blind, and they were off to look for color and rutting elk. So
as typical of David, it's beautiful and razor sharp, and the lines of it and color is just wonderful. And this is me.
Well, that's not you.
No, it's not me, but I photographed it. I don't know. The Tetons and Yellowstone are such an interesting location with all the geothermic craziness. This is the Grand Prismatic Spring, which we always sort of think of as color. But when you pop up at the main parking area and hike over the bridge over the spring, go up to where all the steam is boiling up, Rick and I have long enjoyed photographing the people who are out there, often photographing and just enjoying the place. And somehow this cowboy with a couple of tourists taking cell phone pictures, it just gives me the feel of, the culture and the place, and black and white worked in the middle of the day with all that steam boiling up from the spring. And
we promised that guy. So we did tell the guy we were going to photograph him as he went around, and if he wanted photographs to come around and give us his email address.
Yep.
We need to make sure that
he did.
We get him some of the photos. I've got a couple of great silhouettes of him just sort of standing by himself. And it's one of my favorite places to shoot in the whole valley.
It's so much fun. I have some good shots of him by himself, but something about him with these two gals taking cell phone shots just worked for me. The juxtaposition kind of is cool. So the local and the tourists and everyone enjoying. All right.
There we go. So we've wasted another hour of an hour and 8 minutes of everyone's time.
Well, I apologize for what technical difficulties. I have gigabit fiber and I have no idea why things were jumping around there, but it was a good thing that Rick's system seemed to be working better with keeping time. But it's good to see so many familiar faces here in the Zoom chat. People I know we're going to be on workshops with in this next year, people who we just had a ton of fun in workshops with, and just our general crew here. And I love seeing all your work, and it's really a pleasure just to look at the world through all of your lenses. And so I'm always appreciative of you submitting such quality stuff. And huge thanks to Rick and Darren and Woody as usual for helping run this thing. And we'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you all mid-November and talking about whether or not you really need to think about buying gear, and if so, how to get rid of your old gear and what's the best way to get stuff. So
That's
thanks,
November
everybody.
15th.
Mhm.
Registration's
10 a.m.
open now.
And remember
Registration's-
too, the Cuba workshop is now open, hudsonhenry.com/workshops. We do figure that will
both of
sell
them.
out rather quickly. So
Yeah, they've been selling fast. We thought we'd give you all a first crack at it before it gets mentioned in a video Thursday and put live on the email. So, all right, everybody.
Well, take care.
Thanks
It was
so
great to see
much.
everyone.
See you guys.